Happy Wednesday. Hey, Yvonne, how are you?
I am great. Enjoying this
Awesome.
rain.
Is it raining over there? It was drizzling earlier. We didn't get too much rain, but it was drizzling.
Yeah, just we
Yeah,
got just a little bit.
yeah. Are you getting some feedback? Okay. Okay, all right. Well, let's get started because we have some really great and fun and interesting things to share with you guys today. I am Betsy Nava Flores, owner and broker of Harvest Real Estate. I've been in the real estate industry serving our clients here locally for over 20 years. And I love what I do. Obviously, I'm still here, right? It's been an up and down. I've been through the great crash of 2007 and 2008 and right around that time. And we've been through all the ups and downs of real estate. And so we are experienced. We know what we're doing. We've been through it all. We're weathered. We're weathered. Weathered and experience. And my friend and local preferred business partner lender Yvonne Godina with Fairway Independent Mortgage, and she is top notch. I mean, top notch.
Thank you.
And when I say that, it's because I've been through a lot of lenders. Some really good, no longer in the business. Some not so good, still in the business. And I will tell you that Yvonne has proven countless times over and over. She is in it for our clients, and she is in it to make sure that our clients are getting the best service, the most upfront information that she can get for them, and some really good stuff going on. So just wanted to join you guys today and talk about things, terms, because some people don't buy houses every day. Some investors, or they do it all the time. Some home
Hmm.
buyers, they do it every 3 years or so. But most people don't traditionally buy a house once a year or twice a year, so they're not always familiar with all the terminology that goes into buying a home, right? So one of those terms is appraisal. And a lot of times people misunderstand that what is an appraisal the same thing as an inspection? How does that work? Well, first of all, an inspection is an independent inspector. They are licensed by the Real Estate Commission, and that inspector, home inspector, is typically hired by the buyer, and that home inspector is going to come out to the property, and they're going to do like a 5 major components of your home, which includes your structure, your appliances, your
Hmm.
plumbing, your electrical, and your heating and air conditioning. And so they look at all aspects of the home. And that usually happens at the upfront part of the contract so that we can, clear any contingencies or make sure that we get any repairs completed that we are requesting of the seller, right? And that is the inspection part. Now, the lender, who is Yvonne's team, they have a whole process that they want to make sure that this home not only, meets your needs in terms of
Hmm.
the inspector's recommendations, but they have a pretty major part in playing whether this home um, meets their guidelines. So, Yvonne, can you share
Right.
with us what the appraisal is and what a buyer can expect when they pretty much?
Yes. Yes. So first of all, appraisal is determining value of a property. And it is someone's opinion, but there are factual stuff that they need to go off of. So there's three methods that we kind of use in our industry. And so the first one is a cost approach. And that appraisal is going to be more for like a custom home builder, right? What marketing supplies do we need? What's the value of the land? What is it going to take? And then what's my home going to be worth after we build this home? So that's kind of the cost approach there.
Mhm.
Another method that we use is the sales approach, and that is going to be the most common for us when we are dealing with purchasing a residential property. This is your first time home or this is a vacation home. What we're looking for is what are homes selling for in the area that you're looking for, and mainly they're going to kind of focus on the last 6 months. Sometimes
Mhm.
we can go a little further, but we are looking at like the last 6 months. And when they're looking at these properties, we kind of want to look at, you've always heard, apples and oranges. So we want to look at same like properties. So if you have an existing home and it's a 1 story and square footage is 2,000, that when the appraiser is looking for comps, then that's kind of what they're going to be looking for. They're looking something that's very similar to what you are buying to help them determine what the value is going to be.
Mhm.
Um, Generally, on an appraisal, they do give you three what we call comparables, which are three physical properties that have sold, that are very similar or close to that property on there.
Mhm.
We don't like to use listings. So sometimes there's a misconception of that where, you know, they're like, well, my neighbor has the home listed for, 270,000, but if you go back and pull sales, there's none. And that's kind of where, Betsy's expertise comes in, because you go through and you look at all the
Yeah.
information, all of the data, and find that. And so it's more of, we want to also make sure that when we're doing an appraisal, that the home is worth what you're trying to purchase it for, so this
Right.
is going to protect both parties, the buyer and the seller.
Mhm.
And so if for some reason we have to go back to the drawing table, then that's where we get, like yourself back involved and saying, oops, there's not enough comps, can we help, or can we get some additional information? And then the last appraisal method that we use is an income appraisal method. And that's going to be more for like your investors. So investors that are buying homes, there's an additional documentations that are completed on that appraisal form. And we want to know, what are homes renting for in that area?
Mhm.
And so that if we're trying to use as an investment, whether you're using income to qualify or not, then we've got a great idea of what kind of rent is being capitalized on these properties. So it's a lot of detailed information. We've seen some reports run anywhere from 20 something pages to 30 something pages. Almost everything that you can find on the property is going to be on there.
Mhm.
But keep in mind, kind of like how you mentioned that an inspector kind of goes out there, the appraiser is licensed in this specific area, but they're not a licensed um, you know electrician, they're not a licensed plumber. But if they do see anything that they feel that might be a concern or so forth, then they might require somebody in that expert field to go out and reevaluate, to see if there's
Mhm.
any plumbing issues or roof issues or whatever the situation is. So but it is a little bit different than the inspection, but they kind of do go, hand in hand. The appraiser
Mhm.
will also look for some of those items that the inspector's looking, not as hard, but they do look at major safety items that might be a
Mhm.
concern if somebody moved into the home.
Yes. Well, we've been through a lot of different appraisals. We've seen some that have been very, cooperative. They're say, hey, I looking at the home. I'm looking at
Hmm.
these comps. I'm just not seeing where you got your value from. Would you mind sharing with me how you came up with this, suggested list price? And we're able to, help in cooperating. Depends on which side of the transaction we're working.
Right.
But obviously, if it comes in low, then we always want to make sure that we let that seller know, hey, well, we're willing to negotiate. So one of those options is that we would reduce the sales price to meet the appraised value. The other option is, of course, very unlikely, but if it's in a situation where maybe there are multiple offers and very little inventory, sometimes a buyer may be willing to come up to that appraised value and come out of
Mm.
pocket with those funds. It's very rare here in San Antonio. I've to tell you the honest truth, I've never experienced a situation where we would have to do that. um, and then, of course, the third option would be, if you cannot mutually agree to reduce the sales price or come in with a difference, then you have the opportunity to terminate the transaction. 9 out of 10 times, you're already so far along in the transaction that the seller might be thinking, hey, you know what, I'll just cut my losses and take that price and let's move on, right? Um, I haven't seen that happen in a while, as I think we've been pretty fortunate with the last few transactions that you and I have seen, is
Mhm.
that they've actually appraised for more, and
Yeah.
that's a really great thing. So we're we're constantly working on reevaluating the market, making sure that when we submit offers that we are well within that appraised price, and hopefully we can get some additional equity for you. It's not always the case, it's not guaranteed, but it happens, it can
Yeah.
happen to you. um, how long does an appraisal usually take? So I always recommend to my clients is like, wait until um, after your inspection period is done. Wait until after then, so that you don't incur that cost right away for that appraisal. So like, let's say you as a lender, typically the lenders will charge that appraisal fee up front, correct? Do you collect that up front?
Cor-
Mm-hmm.
Correct. All lenders are just a little bit different, but for the best practice, you are going to find that the lenders will collect the appraisal up front.
Mm-hmm. And if
And
they
that will be
don't,
for any type of home.
okay. And if they don't go forward with that appraisal and the contract terminates, that money is refunded to the party, I assume. I don't know if that's something that works that way, as long as you haven't already ordered the appraisal. Is that correct?
So if we have not ordered the appraisal or the appraiser has not performed any services, then yes, we can generally do a refund. But if the appraiser has already gone out and for some reason something happens afterwards, then the
Mm-hmm.
appraiser has to be paid for their services that they had performed. So
Mm-hmm.
we would not be able to give a refund after that point.
Mm-hmm. And that's why I always recommend to our clients is to make sure, and to, even if I'm not representing you, and, you're kind of thinking about, wow, I'm going through this process with another real estate agent, and maybe I should ask some of these questions, which is very, very proper for you to do. Make sure that that appraisal is that you hold off, because if you don't move forward with your contract, if you terminate because you got cold feet, or you're in your option period and your inspection didn't go well, or something happened and you didn't move forward, well, that inspection money, you're not going to get that back, but you don't have to make an additional expense on an appraisal. So I would always recommend that, just because things happen. Just ask your realtor and ask your lender to wait to order the appraisal until after you have completed your option period.
Yes.
That's my number one advice for you today. Um, when you get an appraisal back, Yvonne, I know we've seen some real common things that appraisers ask for, especially on a government loan like an FHA or a VA loan. What are some of the common items that we or you have seen as a lender? You've probably seen a whole lot more than I have, that lenders typically will identify, like, they have to get fixed before we even close on this home.
So some of the common things are missing flooring. So let's just say, for example, the carpet has been removed, or tile or linoleum or something, and it's just exposed concrete. That is something that will have to be replaced. And if they're trying to leave concrete, because sometimes that is common, some people do want that, it has to be sealed and stained in
Stained.
order for them to do
Hmm.
that. The other thing is broken windows or windows that will not lock. That's also a safety item that will have to be taken care of. Most of the time, if there's huge cracks in the wall, and we're talking anything that's bigger than a quarter, of an inch, that may raise some concerns,
Hmm.
there. One other thing, as far as like the exposed wires or the plugs, if those are exposed, definitely want to make sure that those are done prior to the appraiser going out there. What rotten wood, very common. So in the front or in the back of the home or the trim, if you find that there's anything rotten or it's decaying or something of that nature, recommend that you put that in your contract to have that replaced. And it does have to be treated and painted. They can't
Hmm.
just put the wood up there, but that's
Yeah.
probably one big real common. The other one would be if there's any signs of termite or inspection. So sometimes people have, flower beds in the front. If there's
Mhm.
anything visual there, that may be common. Some people, not a lot of people, but there are still some homes that have burglar bars. If they
Mhm.
do, that is a safety, because we have to make sure that if there was a fire in the home, that somebody can, get outside of the home. So if you
Mhm.
have burglar bars on the windows, one of the windows in each room must be able to open. So sometimes they have
Mhm.
keys. If they don't have keys, then one of those burglar bars does have to be removed
Be
from each
removed.
each room.
Yes.
And
Okay.
I'm trying to think of anything else. I think that might
I
be
know
the
a heat
most
source. I didn't know if it is a heat source still one of the items that appraisers look for in a home or
they do look
for a
at the
government home?
yeah, they will look at the heat source. Of course, they're not plumbers or anything, but they do open water valves and so forth. So if they don't feel that the hot water's coming out enough or anything of that nature, they may put a concern on that.
Mhm.
Um, Water heater definitely has to, you have to have hot water, in there. You have to
Yeah.
have toilet bowls, so you have to make sure that you have
Has to be
kind of
livable.
all of those. Has to be livable. Yeah,
Okay.
definitely.
Awesome. And I think for the most part, there's so many things that we go through in a transaction when you're purchasing a home. It's important to know that your real estate agent is an expert. That there are agents that are learning under other agents, and that is good. But you want to make sure that they are knowledgeable about a lot of these things, especially if you're a seller and you're going to put your home on the market before you decide to hire that agent. You want them to make sure they walk with you and at least help you to identify some of
Right.
these things that you might want to do ahead of time, because after the fact it may cost you a whole lot more
Mhm.
versus just getting them done prior to. And so here at Harvest Real Estate, of course, we're here to help to guide you through the process of listing your home and selling it. But obviously we're always helping buyers in the city of San Antonio look for homes and buy homes. And some of these things we can identify just because we've had the experience looking through the house, that that might be an item that the appraiser is going to look at, or that these are things that we want to ask ahead of time. Lender required repairs is what we call them when an appraiser gives us a requirement that needs to be fixed prior to closing.
Mhm.
Those items are negotiable. Okay. A seller doesn't have to pay for them. I mean, obviously, we want them to because we want the home to be able to close at the end, but it will save you time and money if you are able to negotiate a lot of these items beforehand.
Yes.
So, as always, we're here to help. And I thank Yvonne because like every day she teaches me something new about her industry, and I hope I can teach her something new about our industry. She's very experienced. I don't know how much more she can learn from me, but
I
we
can learn a
have
lot. Believe me, I can.
yeah, we're here to serve, and we're here to serve you guys. I am going to not take this too long because I want you guys to just kind of process through that information. But if there's anything that you guys are, maybe would like us to discuss or to share more information about, you just drop us a comment on the bottom. If you're starting to look, you want to know where to start, place number one with my friend
Mm,
Yvonne. She is going to do your pre-qualification, and then we can take a look at which direction you want to go from there. But that's always place number one. Let's get you to do a pre-qualification and get you in a position to be able to buy a home. And then
right
I will
home.
take
Yeah.
care of walking you through the process of all the terminology that goes on when you buy
Yes.
a home. And a lot of our clients are probably watching. They can attest to the fact that, wow, it's just like a mini college course on how to buy a house. But I'm going to tell you, you will save thousands of dollars if you use the right agent, and it will cost you thousands more if you don't use a good real estate professional.
Mm.
Contact me. My consultations are always free. We can discuss where you're at. And of course, my friend Yvonne. Yvonne, you want to add anything before we head off?
So I just wanted to add one other thing on appraisals. Like, if anyone is purchasing a home, I'm praying that your process is going very smooth, and that you're going to be able to get into your home. But being in the industry for such a long time, we know that that doesn't always happen. And so I just recently was blessed to help a family that the lender just was not able to get them done, but we were able to transfer that existing appraisal to us.
Mhm.
So then the client was not out of any money. They had already paid the fee with the other lender, and then we were able to use it. So if that's something that maybe might be going on, and I hope, I pray that that's not what the situation is, but if you've been delayed or something has happened closing, please, let us know, and we might be able to help you like we just did on the last client we did.
That's awesome. That's awesome news. Well, we are here to serve. We're here to help. Reach us here on Facebook. You can direct message me. You can also contact Yvonne. I will continue to post a link where you can do your free pre-qualification. And with that, we will say happy Froggy Day. Is it Froggy Day you said?
I think it's like National Frog Day, but I think I like the National Apple Pie Day. So
Oh, yes.
how about y'all post some apple pies for us or some nice recipes? We would love to see that.
Well, I'm not a baker, but I am going to attempt an easy recipe, see how that comes out. Oh, if it's successful, I'll share it with you. If it's just don't expect anything. But y'all have a fantastic Wednesday. Have a great rest of your week. And as always, we are here to serve. We pour our heart into your home, and as always, just trying to provide you guys with true, genuine results. So
Yes.
love you guys, and we will see you guys soon.
All righty.